How big of a spike in the mid 80s do you think there were of sign-ups for karate classes?
Because of
Karate Kid.
Karate Kid?
Yeah. I mean, imagine, all these fucking kids are like, I want to do karate. I'm going to be Danielson. And they get there, they're like expecting Mr. Miyagi, and it's just fucking, it's Kreese. Like, oh, fuck. I joined Cobra Kai. God damn it.
I'm looking it up.
Oh. I wanted to just have a fun talk.
I'm just curious now. Well,
I was trying to do a bit, and you're like, let's get real, man. Let's get serious. Let's know. Let's look at the numbers. How do you even look that up? Like, what did you search?
How much of a spike was there in the 80s for karate classes? Your question. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's just like that when you like propose a question to a friend as like, a little like banter thing like that. And then like with Google, you kind of like, you may not type exactly that.
One of the first articles was everybody was kung fu fighting 1970s through 80s martial arts. Fast as lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, there's.
I mean, obviously, yeah, because there was like a rise of like martial arts films in that era as well. But like the Karate Kid is like more like kid friendly, obviously. And everyone's like, relating with the villain of the story, Daniel.
Yeah. There's a lot of articles about it, about the 70s and 80s.
And the spike of martial arts.
The spike of martial arts. Because of just how much it was in your face. To be totally honest with you, when you did that, I kind of for a minute forgot that we were recording.
Oh, did you think I was just asking you?
Yeah, I kind of forgot that was the beginning of a cold open.
Well, you want to do it?
This is Tommy.
It's Jacob. This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape.
Welcome back, everyone. Hello. Welcome back to TJ's Mixtape. I'm Tommy. That's Jacob. We're a movie review podcast where we just kind of we talk about movies. We talk about the history, who made them, why they were made, who was in them, and then kind of just chit-chat about the themes and plot of it, and then give it a rating. The rating is arbitrary, but it's a good way to end things. This little block, if you haven't been following, we have been doing young adult books turned to movies that never had a future.
And failed horribly.
So basically, we got the first installment of said story to then never get a follow-up ever again.
With the hopes and like so far it's continued. Every single one of these films has ended in and then there will be more feeling.
I think out of all of them, though, this one ended the best.
It did.
So far. Mm-hmm. Because we started off with The Inheritance Cycle Aragon. Then we did His Dark Materials, The Golden Compass, a.k.a. The Northern Lights. Was that it?
Yeah, the book is Northern Lights.
Lights. And then now we are doing
Cirque du Freak,
The Vampire's Assistant, which is the first installment of the Darren Shan saga.
Saga of Darren Shan.
Yeah. Potato, tomato.
All right, robot.
That's his new name. We ever want to talk about him.
Yeah.
Robot.
Well, it's actually kind of like with this. It's not just the first book. It's the first 3 books, because there's 12 books in total with the saga. So I feel like each is that
right?
Yeah,
this isn't the first 3 books.
Mm-hmm. The movie covers the basis of the first 3 books. That's what I was reading. I don't have my tabs open to prove me right, but it's. I was explaining that because like. It feels like...
Oh, right, yeah, because it's Cirque du Freak, The Vampire's Assistant, and then Tunnels of Blood.
Yeah.
Are the first book. And each one is a chapter in the saga of... Yeah.
A book and a book.
A book in a book.
Okay.
About a book.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
I get what you.
Yeah.
I get what you're. Yeah.
You picking up what I'm putting down.
I don't want to pick it up.
Pick it up.
No.
Bitch.
Hold my pocket.
I don't know if you know anything about prison, but holding another man's pocket, you're gonna have a bad day. We really gotta like get out of the habit of quoting
Tom Segura.
We'll just stand up bits.
Yeah.
It's a bad habit.
Especially while we're recording. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I mean,
bad-
we're doing it at home. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Cirque du Freak came out October 23rd, 2009.
2009.
I forgot to see where this sit in the box office anyway.
This was number 129.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge hit.
No.
I don't think this got a lot of promotion though.
Well, a couple things. First and foremost, how many movies do you see this year?
I kind of like 45.
Okay, kind of 59. And we need to be better about this starting off just to get the vibe. Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I did too. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
It felt like a really long Goosebumps episode.
Yeah. It was
actually it reminds it's kind of
what it is.
yeah. Well, it kind of reminds me of the Goosebumps movie, which I really enjoy.
I mean, this one out of all of them so far is so clearly for a young kid that's kind of painful. You know how it's like, and then you stole my spider. Well, I'm gonna make you my vampire assistant.
That's the Goosebumps thing.
Yeah.
But it's like it's so in the world and in the world we're living in that you really accept it really quick.
Yeah, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the only thing is like, wow, this is really just like this is a kid's fantasy idea type thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like, oh, I'm the creepy kid, so I'm gonna write a story about me being a creepy kid. But yeah, no, I thought it was fine. It's weird. I'd say I definitely have this like thought of like, I kind of wish they wouldn't have canceled this. I think it would have been cool to see at least two more movies or something, or at least another one.
Well, kind of, and I know for those that might be listening to this whole thing, you probably are going to hear reoccurring thoughts probably expanded upon because it is the block that we're doing.
Yeah.
But I had this, especially because of the content in which it is. I was sitting there and I had this thought about what we talked about just kind of pulling the plug really quickly on these and not just committing to like, well, I mean, granted, it's 12 books, so maybe you don't want to do all that, but at least.
I mean, if they're doing from what I was looking at how the books are lined up, it's kind of almost more like 4 phases and 3 books in each phase. So if you just did like 3 books per movie, you'd end up with 4 movies.
Yeah. I mean, that's still quite a commitment, though.
Yeah, it is. But
what I was going to say is that like a perfect example of this thing is Twilight.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say about Twilight or what your feelings are. They did get better as they went on.
Fair. Okay.
The first Twilight is rough. That is a rough fucking movie, and it is not great. Not saying that they're Oscar worthy, but they did get better the more time and money and more stuff they put in there.
Well, I mean, any like big franchise like that, you know, even like Harry Potter.
No, I know, but what we've talked about in the past,
Lord of the Rings.
What
like,
we talked about in the past, though,
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings is a huge exception. That would start it off strong. But
yeah, but the leap between Fellowship to to Two Towers.
I'm talking about this young adult thing.
Fair. Okay.
This young adult section.
I was
of
just
it.
saying trilogy sagas in general.
But because Twilight is so rough, it's kind of like you kind of sit there and you're like, yeah, I mean, it's like a pilot of a TV show.
yeah,
It's gonna have some growing pains in the beginning there.
the God, the Devil, and Bob.
Yeah, you know, like it's not. So I just thought it was funny because it's like, well, yeah, the first one's not going to do great because you don't have a fan base yet. Your fan base is pretty niche in this weird.
You're casting out a fucking fishing lure to see what you catch,
Yeah.
and sometimes you don't really get a big fish.
Yeah, you gotta try. You gotta reel it in. You gotta. All right, let's try again. You know, but I just thought it was funny because I was because of Twilight. I thought about it and I was like, man, that first Twilight was really rough, but they stuck with it and it became a huge.
It's because the financial return was a lot more. It's like if you're
and Twilight already had a following.
had a huge following. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that is a big difference. But I just thinking
That
about
first Twilight movie came out in what, 2007?
I don't know. 2008.
Okay.
Yeah. So right around that, man, there's a lot of vampire shit going on right now.
And this
This
decade
era,
Yeah.
like, God, it was oversaturated.
vampire so hot right now.
Well, it was also weird too. It was so saturated too. Like, it's kind of just a fun. Then we can get back on it, but just about the vampire thing, it was a fun saturation because then people started trying to make vampires like really unique in their own way.
Oh, yeah.
and you're kind of sitting there like, can we just stick with the OG?
I want to suck your blood.
Yeah, can we stick with their monsters in human form? It's like, no, in this one they sparkle. In this one, they use their fingernails like vampire, and
As vampires-
Dracula don't bite, he scrape and lick. You know, they're like that.
And then we're vampires, but the bad ones, they're the vampanese.
Yeah, they drink, they kill humans. We don't, because we're the good guys. You know, it's like, it's so ludicrous
Yeah.
of what we're trying to make this original thing.
Yeah.
So can we just get back to our roots of like old school vampires?
Vlad the Impaler, kill them all.
Yeah, like megalomaniac that wants to cover the world in darkness. Where's
Yeah.
that guy? Come on. But anyways, all right. Sorry, tangent done.
He's off his soapbox.
Okay.
All right, so Cirque du Freak, the vampire's assistant, was written. Oh, the books are written by Darren O'Shaughnessy, but he wrote under the name Darren Shan. Imagine that. The lead character of the movie is called Darren Shan, and the books were written by Darren Shan. Sean?
Shaw.
It's an N.
For the writer?
Yeah.
No, the writer's Darren Shaw.
Shaughnessy is his name, but he
Yeah.
wrote under the pen name Shan.
Okay.
Am I right?
No.
Look it up. Are you seeing the N as a U?
Yeah. No, but I just like all of his pen names are pretty great.
Oh, does he have more than one pen
Yeah.
name?
Well, that's the thing. He has been writing for a really long time,
Mm-hmm.
and even to like I think 2020. So he's got a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
but it's just they're all different names. So there's Darren Sean, DB Sean, Darren Dash, which I wonder what he writes under Darren Dash.
Maybe Zombie.
Oh yeah.
That's another one of his. So yeah. So like he has like the 12 books of the Darren Shan. I guess it's Sean. I don't know how to fucking pronounce it actually. Saga of Darren Shan. And then he wrote in another 4 books. That's the Saga of Larton Crepsley, who is the the main vampire in Cirque du Freak.
Yeah, so it's like his vampireless stats.
Yeah,
like his backstory,
and it's like his origin story, which
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool, actually. I mean, he has a lot. He's written a lot of stuff, and like I'm pointing out, like he did another young adult series called Zombie, and imagine what the main characters in that are.
Yeah.
They're dogs. No,
Are they?
no.
Oh, you totally got me.
They're zombies.
Well, yeah, but that's why I was like, is that the twist?
God damn it!
It's the City trilogy. It's got a lot.
Yeah, he has
I
a lot
kind
of
of want to
stuff.
check it out because I mean they're
Probably pretty easy to read.
they're
and-
fun worlds.
Yeah, like reading a fucking Goosebumps book. It's like it's just gonna be kind of like spoon fed to you. Actually, you know what this reminded me of? Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but like dark for the spooky kid.
The spooky kid. Well, yeah, no, I mean the whole Darren Sean and Darren Shan thing, that's kind of wild to me.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was like I thought it was Darren Shaw, which I've always thought for some reason. I don't know why. Like I've written it down multiple times like that, but maybe it's because of his last name. But anyways,
Shaughnessy, yeah.
Shaughnessy. But I thought it was like his name was Darren Shaw, but his main character was Darren Shan, and I was like, oh, okay, you just changed it up. I don't know, but nope, just
Nope. He's like, this is what I wanted to do when I was a kid.
hey, I mean, you knock it, but at the end of the day, you're the writer. You can do whatever you want.
It's true.
That's kind of the point, is to do whatever you want.
And the lamp comes alive.
Yeah, you know. So it's like you kind of want to like laugh about it, but you're like, fuck it, it's your life.
He made money.
Yeah, you made your money.
Yeah.
He got a movie made out of it.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Most people can't say that happens.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways.
Could you imagine he's like writing this stuff, then Twilight picks up, and he's like, "Fuck it, I've been writing this shit for years."
Yeah, but you didn't have a love triangle.
There was the Spucky.
He does have some weird. He does end up, because I've read this series, and again,
Have you read the entire series?
Yeah.
Really, all 12 books.
all of them?
Wow.
I read them. This is one of those ones I actually did finish, but they're also
How old were you?
I don't know. I mean, the first one came out in 2000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were published in 2000. So.
Oh, I thought they were more. They were in the like mid 90s, late 90s. But okay.
So I got my hands on them. I remember I had them. I don't know if I still do. Like,
so you're probably getting them as they were coming out, really?
Probably. But no, I read the whole thing because they were really bite sized. They were almost like.
That's what I was thinking. Is like if it's kind of like the first 3 books are kind of like this, like, trilogy. That feels like, well, then those first 3 are really the first book.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to go back and read them again because I feel like you could just, as an adult, rip through them. Yeah. But I read the whole thing, and he does some weird stuff, especially with the whole like vampire love interest thing, kind of stuff.
Monkey Girl.
That's not Darren's main.
Oh, really?
Main one towards the like middle
the end
of the series.
Oh, okay.
But his like the main love interest. That's the first one.
I like that scene where it's like, is it weird to like a girl with a tail? And then John C. Reilly or Crepsley's like, 200 years ago, you told me I was going to date a woman with a beard pretty much. I would fucking think I would laugh you out of the building. Mm-hmm. Look at me now. She has a tail. Who gives a shit, bro?
But yeah, that's Darren Shan. He wrote a lot of stuff. And I'm kind of curious I was just more curious that like his most recent thing came out in 2020. I was like, wow, you're still going.
Is that part of Zombie? Because that was the most recent one that I saw that he wrote. Or is it new?
New. It's something digital only because it was during the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
He released a couple just off things.
Just staying active, being a writer.
Yeah.
Doing his thing.
But yeah, that's Darren, Irish writer, novelist.
Well, the movie was written and directed. Well, kind of. He's got a writing credit with it. I'm really confused about the writing with this. And it was hard to find like production, like who pitched it? Why did it get this? Who did this? There's really not much about this movie, which sometimes you just get that with movies like this that kind of like came and went, it's kind of hard to find the history of it all.
Yeah.
But this was directed by Paul Weitz, the brother of Golden Compass, Chris Weitz, which I thought was fucking bonkers that we somehow got that
just
right next
stumbled upon them. Yeah.
Paul Weitz, credited for director of American Pie. He was a writer and director for About a Boy. Same with Chris Weitz, his brother. And his first earliest credit for writing is on the movie Ants, which I was like, interesting. I really like that movie.
It's a good movie.
But I feel like what's his name? Woody Allen probably had a lot of rewrite that.
Yeah, probably.
In improv of his own stuff.
No, Ants is. I watched it not too long ago. Ants is still great.
Oh, I bet. Yeah,
it's really funny.
Yeah,
it's
the adult version of Bug's Life.
Oh yeah. No, that's got some jokes on that. I just feel so insignificant. That's right, Z. You are insignificant. Oh, it's all about loss of identity.
It's psychopath. Yeah.
No, it's pretty. I don't know. I don't know if I ever watched it as an adult. And I was just sitting there like, well, this is some heavy themes kind of sprinkled in here, hidden under the guise of Bug's Life. You know
what's funny is when I was younger, I preferred Ants over Bug's Life. I just, as a kid, thought Ants was funnier.
Me too. I liked Ants more.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And I've always liked the art style more.
Fair.
I like that they are ants.
Yeah.
They have 6 limbs and you know what I mean? It's more atomically correct.
There's an invisible barrier that I can't get through.
Oh yeah, they're chewing on the cellophane and
trying to get to the sandwich.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But the other official screenplay writer on this is Brian Helgeland, who has a doozy of a career.
Yeah, really all over the place.
Earliest credit, Nightmare on Elm. Well, one of his earliest credits, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, because Robert Englund liked working with him on another movie that Robert Englund did his directorial debut on. He wrote and directed A Knight's Tale.
Cool.
And this was I found this amusing. So in the same year, he won an Academy Award for screenplay for L.A. Confidential.
Okay.
And won the Razzie for The Postman.
What's The Postman?
It's a Kevin Costner post-apocalyptic mailman movie.
Oh, right. I've heard jokes about it being like Fallout New Vegas. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I just find, and apparently
he's the courier.
Yeah. apparently he's like one of the few people to like actually like be there at the Razzies to accept the award.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, and he keeps them on a shelf next to each other because it's funny that's like in the same year he won that.
Yeah,
and he's like I like to keep them together to kind of show how Hollywood,
the duality,
how Hollywood can be fucking unforgiving or like praise you with fucking shit. So I just found it kind of interesting, and like it's weird, like even as like kind of looking at the screenplay thinking about the screenplay for this, it's not the best, but it hits all of its beats, Like his career is all over the place from like doing like The Postman. He's written Mystic River, Nightmare on Elm Street 4. It's just like, yeah, he's like, here it is, and then maybe it's good, maybe it's not.
Well, that's also like something I feel like to kind of thrive in this industry, you need to not give a shit to a certain degree.
Totally, yeah.
Like care about what you're putting out.
Yeah,
it's a weird fine line that you got to tread.
Not every cocktail we make is the perfect cocktail.
Yeah, just. But I mean, the internet. I mean, the critics don't rip you apart for it. It's one person that's like, I don't like that. That was gross. But like to get ripped to the point of like, hey, here's an award show to say how much your shit sucked.
Yeah.
Come on down.
And he's like, whoa, yeah, let's do this. Let's do it. Yeah. You guys watch this piece of shit? I'm sorry.
But yes, so those are our, well, like Man on Fire, Mystic River.
Yeah.
Just a lot of all over the place.
We can get into starring.
Okay.
There's a lot of people. You can tell that they were
rooting up for sequels.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of like not big names, but well-known names. Like you.
Oh shit! I never did the synopsis.
Oh fuck! What's this movie about, Tommy?
Two young men stumble upon a vampire hidden amongst a freak show, an encounter that changes their lives forever.
Forever.
Yeah, it's a. Sorry, that. Whoopsie. Yeah, so starring
Chris Massoglia. I don't know.
Who plays Darren, who I didn't notice anything.
His IMDb list is really short, and it's all not really. It's like looks like TV made from TV movies type stuff. One of them is a really bad knockoff of The Avengers called The Protectors.
I thought that was a real group.
The Protectors?
I thought so.
You're thinking of the Defenders, baby.
Maybe.
We are the Protect Defenders.
We're the Defectors.
I almost sound like it's a Protect Offenders.
And then our other young man starring in is Josh Hutcherson, who plays Steve, who you'll recognize from Hunger Games, the show Ultraman and Future Man.
Yeah.
Or like he's a lead in that for a long time.
Future Man. I remember starting Future Man and liking it, but never really like
Same
getting
thing.
back into it.
I remember watching a couple episodes and then just completely forgot about it until I saw it today or yesterday.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's PETA in the Hunger Games series. He's also in Zathura, which I just rewatched, and it's very fun.
Yeah.
The Jumanji, but in space.
Yeah.
It's very fun.
It's also got Kristen Stewart.
Baby Kristen Stewart. Speaking of Thailand. Yeah, that's Josh. That's all. Anything else on Josh?
It's fun to just watch you spiral sometimes.
I'm not spiraling. I'm very calm.
No. But you just kind of, I don't know.
I'm waiting for you to say something and not say anything. Up next, never mind. I don't know why I'm relying on you. I don't need a man. Up next is John C. Reilly, who plays our vampire Crepsley.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who actually we talked about in The Lobster, which was episode 71.
Okay, yeah.
Walk Hard,
Step Brothers,
Boogie Nights, Talladega Nights.
He's got a great.
This is a really weird movie for him.
Respect his career. What movie was weird for
this
him?
one? I don't know. It was weird for that.
It is a little.
It worked.
Yeah, he did a fine job.
It worked, but it was weird.
He did an okay job. I don't know. The acting in this movie all around isn't the best.
No, but that's not where you're watching it.
Yeah,
you're not watching it for the acting.
Yeah, fair.
You're watching it because you're a fan. You remember being a fan of the books, kind of. Like you're like I kind of remember reading those.
Well, I mean, when did the last book come out? Really quick, out of curiosity.
Oh, I don't even know.
Because if this was released in 2009, I mean, they were probably filming it early 2009 or 2008.
Sons of Destiny is the last one in the 12-part series.
2007?
Released as of So as of October 2008, the book has been published in 33 countries. So let's just say 2008.
All right, so pretty much like he finished this entire series and then the book and then the movie.
Oh, no. Wait, I don't know. It says here, so it says box set of books 1 through 6, Saga, published, blah, 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 going down to published January 4th of 2000 all the way to March 31st, 2004. So it was all published in 2004, and then by 2008 was published in 33 countries in 30 different languages.
Okay. So 2004 is when he finished
When the whole thing was out.
the Saga of Darren Shan.
Yes, that was when it was done. But yeah, John C. Reilly, he plays our vampire guy. And he's fun.
I like his career. I want his career. I want to be him.
Who'd you get next?
I mean, Michael Cerverus, I guess, really is the next because he's like kind of like he's like the main villain.
Oh, he's tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see anything particularly. Did anything stand out to you?
In Ant-Man and the Wasp, he is the father of Ghost. So it's like only in that flashback when you see him, like when she gets.
Wait, then who's with her? Ghost is the one that can't.
Yeah.
Right. But
Lawrence Fishburne. He's like the godparent.
Oh, I so do not remember that movie.
That's fair.
Anything about it, really. I remember like, and then,
The only reason I have kind of vague memories of any parts of that movie is because I've watched it. It's been on repeating like in the background at work.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think
I've never sat down and rewatched Ant-Man and the Wasp.
and gun to my head, I could never tell you the third one. I have no fucking, I know I watched it. I have no recollection of anything that happened in that movie.
King.
That's cool.
Nothing?
Nope.
Nope.
I know he's in it.
Okay.
And so
I'm thinking really hard. Like as I more think about it, the more it's coming back to me. But anywho, next, okay, so Michael Severus, who plays Tiny or villain. Also, I feel like his over the top performance fit, but it was weird. It was weird.
he was my favorite thing about the movie.
Yeah.
I loved him.
That's
I
fair,
thought he
yeah.
was so he's just like sitting there snacking and just he's gross and
Yeah. Yeah.
They,
I'm starting the apocalypse.
I don't know why he keeps going up, but he was hedonism.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Oh no, brothers fighting. He was just. I thought he was great. He was a fun character.
And then we have who I thought was going to turn into be more of a villain throughout all of it. Really, Murlaugh, played by Ray Stevenson,
who we unfortunately just lost last year.
Mm-hmm. Dude, what a fucking chameleon that guy was.
He's great. If you don't know, he was most recently in Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Was not a Sith. I don't know. He kind of. I don't know. That got
he was
confusing.
trying to pretty much restart the idea of the Force.
Yeah, he was like a dark Jedi. He
Yeah.
wasn't really a Sith.
Yeah.
He was a dark Jedi. No, he's incredible. He was Blackbeard and Black Sails, and he was great in it. Like,
Yeah, it's like when I was looking at his IMDb list, it's like I was noticing how many things I've seen him in and seen him, and I was like, I would have never guessed that was the same person at the same, like, it's just, he's a fucking chameleon.
he was in Punisher Warzone.
Was he? Who was he?
He's Frank Castle.
Get the fuck out of here.
I was actually thinking I was going to talk about this off mic, but I don't care anymore. But since we did the other Punisher, we should do the sequel reboot thing. Why?
I don't know. I don't really want to watch Warzone.
Why?
It's not a good movie.
When was the last time you watched it?
I don't know.
Then shut up. I don't know. It's got him in it. Him as Frank Castle sounds dope.
I mean, yeah, I guess I'd watch it for Ray Stevenson.
Yeah,
I don't know if I
like-
want to do a review of it. I'd watch it.
Okay. Well, we can watch it one day. Anyways, fuck me.
Yeah.
Who's next?
At this point, I'm just gonna kind of start just throwing the names out. I mean, cool. Really quick, I guess Jessica Carlson, who plays Monkey Girl, Rebecca, is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
She has like no IMDb. This is like her only. She's getting a paycheck for this, pretty much, just living maybe comfy for the rest of her life. And then Patrick Fugit, who we talked about in Risk Cutters.
Yeah, he plays Evra, the Snake Boy.
Well, I really, more than anything, I wanted to see the story. Okay, because of these side characters, I wanted to see more of this story in the movie because I wanted to see what the circus people, what they became in the story. Mm-hmm. And like how important they become. Like Evra, I feel like is going to turn into like some like weird sidekick character for him, you know?
Kind of does.
Yeah. you know. And I was just like, I was like, I want to see what they do.
Well, let's see. It was weird too, from just because I really just remember the books very loosely, but I just a lot of the characters to me, you're like, oh yeah, they're pretty important, and they're not really in the movie. And you're like, oh, okay, we didn't really touch base on that.
Yeah,
you know.
Then I got Salma Hayek, who's our sees future thing. What's that called?
Madam.
Are you trying to remember her name?
No, I'm trying to remember. I don't know. Clairvoyant.
Clairvoyant. Yeah, I was gonna say fortune teller.
Who we did in episode 36.
We didn't. What?
She was in a movie we reviewed, episode 36.
4 Rooms.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
But she's all, you don't see her face. What? Just tell me.
Big mechanical spider.
Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Woof.
Yeah. Woof. And then also just
I was thinking, we didn't do From Dusk Till Dawn. What?
that's the thing. A recommendation for me is Tale of Tales with her and actually John C. Reilly, and it's a really cool anthology fantasy series, like movie, but they just do a bunch of little stories, very high end.
Oh, okay.
Kind of artsy fartsy stuff, but it's all about Dungeons and Dragons and yeah, it's good.
I got Ken Watanabe as next, who's like the circus
leader,
ringmaster,
yeah, Mr. Tall,
yeah. And then I got Willem Dafoe, who's like another vampire.
In it for 3 minutes.
Yeah. It's Willem Dafoe, though.
He looked so much like Vincent Price in this.
Yeah,
I was
he
like,
does.
I would love a Vincent Price biopic with Willem Dafoe playing Vincent Price.
Yeah, that'd be great,
Just
actually.
doing that voice. And, yeah, right? Well, that'd be great. Like, that'd be really cool.
Orlando Jones, who plays the guy without guts or whatever. And then Jane Krakowski, who's terrifying. Chops off her arm, and she's like, no, watch it grow back.
Oh, that's who she was. I was trying to remember her name.
Christian Skull for a quick hot second. She's in it. She's the voice of Luis. Yeah. Also very weird when she kisses the young boy and then yells at him, "You're not my type," and runs away.
That was awesome.
Why?
I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
It's like she's a 30-year-old woman and he's like supposed to be a 14-year-old boy.
And this was 2009. I did the math. He's 15. 2009. Okay. Don't think about it too hard.
Don't think about it too hard.
You'll start seeing a lot of problems and a lot of stuff.
And then Frankie Faison, who's two stomachs. Frankie Two Stomachs. Yeah, it's crazy with the cast of all of the people in this, and just like there is just like a crazy amount of, it's a circus, sideshow. So of course, like there's just, a cast of characters, in the circus.
Yeah.
But a lot of like just everyone's pretty recognizable face.
You've seen him in something.
Yeah. And it would have been really interesting to see them, even just like as minor characters, like.
But that's the problem, though. They were gonna gear up. They were gearing up to do that. Because even then, I don't really remember reading anything specifically about the sequels. Just that they just never happened.
It's because of like, this wasn't a success. It wasn't a financial success. It wasn't a critic success or anything. It was just kind of like, bleh. And then they were like, well, we just leave it. You don't have to clean it up. You just leave it.
I was just curious.
And even like what I was able to find was like in some wiki fandom thing, where it just literally said that it just the studios didn't want to continue with it, didn't want to pick up more, but Darren Shan is like Shaughnessy is like crossing his fingers and hoping for some type of reboot, maybe a series.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there it is.
I feel like Nickelodeon could pick this up and do a fucking fun, like, short, couple of seasons television show thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could also. Yeah, I mean, you could do like an episode.
Actually, Disney has the money. Do it, Disney.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those you could kind of take it and kind of do a Goosebumps thing with it.
Like the movie? What do you mean?
Like a show, like Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Just do an episodic, the 20-minute long something. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the thing is like, I want them. You would want them to tell the narrative, the narrative that is the story.
Well, Darren Shan said that Universal, prior to the film's failure, abandoned it. So they
They probably saw just how like womp womp it was, and they're like,
actually,
never mind.
We didn't make that. We didn't do it. We didn't do it. That's not ours. It's just kind of wild.
Yeah, because like even like for like there's no like reports of like people being difficult on set, over budget, or anything. It just kind of was like it like happened, and they're like, oh, maybe there was also just like maybe with like they're clearly at this time with the success of Twilight and the success of I guess Harry Potter as well. You know, like. I don't know. It's weird because like now we actually kind of thinking back, knowing that Twilight came out in 2008, I always felt like Twilight was like the true catalyst of all of these young adult novel stories being put into film. Mm-hmm. But it's been happening for a minute because we start like the first movie that we did is Aragon in 2006.
Yeah, no, it's been happening for a while, but I don't know. It's like. I mean, like we were saying, too, the core material may not have been strong enough, you know?
Because, like, going back to... Actually, yeah. Well, let's go with reviews.
Okay, so give our scores.
Yeah. So it's got a 5.8 on IMDb and a 37% tomato meter score and a 42% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's not... Yeah, and I see why.
Well, that's what I was going to say, too. Because even then, for this time period, it sounds like it's a $40 million budget, which is a lot of money. But when it comes to movie making, you're like, for the amount of special effects and costumes and prosthetics and everything going on, and the amount of people they got, that like you said, they're not the tippy top of recognizable names, but they're all people very much in the industry. 40 million isn't that crazy for what this is.
Yeah,
for this time, it's like that's pretty average. Like if you read that and you said 100 million, you would be sitting there like, where did it go? Yeah. You know, but 40 million, it fits for what for what the product was. Let's see. So on Metacritic, it is a 43, which gets a mixed or average with 5 positive, 15 mixed, 5 negative. I just liked the 5. For a positive, I went to the tippy top with a 70 out of... Drop my pen. I don't like dropping my pen. I like my pen. 70 out of 100 by Andre Gornval at Chicago Reader. Mixing horror and comedy while minimizing the gore, writer-director Paul Weitz, about a boy, serves up a witty adventure fantasy with a tasty dollop of Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude?
Oh, okay.
Which means is a German phrase for laughing at others' misfortune.
Ah.
So someone trips and you're like, yeah, they tripped. Shit like that. Schadenfreude.
Like when someone drops something and then they're bending over, I'm like, oh, you dropped that, by the way.
Yeah, Schadenfreude.
Cool.
Okay.
I don't know what you want from me right now.
You usually say something about what the person said. Anyways, 50 out of 100 by A.O. Scott at the New York Times. This movie incites curiosity tinged with confusion and irritation. It bristles with interesting ideas about friendship and freakishness, honesty and anger, and intriguing characters, all of which may blossom in later episodes.
Down the toilet.
And then our guy.
Oh, what did you say?
Our guy. Roger Ebert gave it a 38. The movie has good special effects and subtly gruesome characters, but it's bloodless.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the all.
It's interesting. Yeah, is there any more?
Like this one right here. Lisa Schwarzenbaum at Entertainment Weekly gave it a 33. Subplots that go nowhere and characters, many played by well-known actors, barely get screen time. Willem Dafoe, Salma Hayek, Jane Krasinski are amongst those who are there and gone.
Yeah. So what's weird with this, what's interesting is like, I feel like me kind of relating the vibe of it to like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. It's like that Lizzie McGuire Diary of a Wimpy Kid, like
set in spooky time.
Yeah, it's like the exaggerated world. Like the parents are like college, family, whatever, like school.
Yeah,
you know?
I liked that scene though when he turned into dad.
Yeah,
I was like, that's kind of cool for what this movie is.
Yeah,
was the imagination. You
yeah,
know?
But then it stops, and then it kind of dwindles away from that, and then it turns into Spooky Town. Is so it's just kind of like the identity of the film. Just it's kind of has two identities that like are meant to mesh but don't. Like the whole thing of like of Darren, our main guy, he has like this weird affinity to spiders. He likes spiders. Fucking weirdo.
I like spiders.
Spiders are fucking. Ugh. I don't like spiders.
I like spiders.
You're fucking weird.
Okay, I know. Jeez.
And like he's like, also the fucking kid is like, I'm gonna steal this man's dancing spider. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you, you klepto?
Well, it's
the pressure. I know it's like the whole like he's had so much of his life is like he has his best friend who's kind of like the burnout kid who has like a broken home. That's Josh Hutcherson. What's his name again? Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
I like pizza. Shit, we haven't done that in a minute.
I know, right? Hey, Steve.
That derailed me. Yeah, so it's like this. It's you're yin and yang. I think like you're good and you're a good boy and you're a bad boy. And Darren is like the perfect. He's straight A kid. Parents love him, but then he's friends with the burnout. So yeah, when it's like they sneak out to go to this circus sideshow, this freak show, where the town is just like, no freaks allowed. Like, there's some little bit of a metaphor in there for something. And just like, it's like the whole thing of him stealing it and him, it's like, it's showing he's trying to prove to himself that he's not the perfect kid, I guess. I don't know. Or he's actually overcome with actual negative, like malicious intent. I don't know.
Well, this whole movie, actually, kind of like talking about it, it's kind of fits better into like a Halloween Town made for TV thing. Like, like if this came out in 2009 and it was a Disney original movie, like,
yeah,
it would have been fine. It really, because that's what it is. It fits in that world where the whole thing is just a carrot that you eat,
yeah,
and you just really let it go
under wraps. The mummies.
Yeah.
I became friends with a mummy.
Yeah, like Halloween Town isn't great a movie, but it's fun. And kind of jumping back to it, and I'll stop at this point bringing it up, but like the Goosebump movies with Jack Black. It's not a great movie. It's really fun, though. It's a really fun little world. It's that spooky movie without being spooky.
She's a character, too?
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. And it's not... But the thing is, you don't go into this movie looking for that. I don't feel like... I mean, I didn't.
No.
And I had seen this once before, but even then, when we were talking about doing this one, I was like, I remember reading the books as a kid. I liked the books. They were fun. I was obsessed with vampires at the time, so obviously. And then I remember seeing the movie and having zero emotion about the movie. Zero emotion. I wasn't angry. I wasn't excited. I saw it, and it happened, and then I moved on with my life.
Talk about a fucking weird... Like, that's kind of like... This movie just has that vibe to it. Just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, it just happened, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
And it's over. It's cool. Whatever. It happens. Like, I don't know. It's just... It's weird, too, out of the ones that we've done. This after everything I just said, this one actually had an ending.
Yeah.
Compared to the other two so far. They just didn't end.
Continue.
They just went like,
oh, yeah.
This one was like this. That was this struggle that we're dealing with right now. Yes, there are other things going on now.
Yeah.
But the main conflict is done. It's done. It's over. Now you can get ready for part 2, as opposed to like black screen.
Yeah.
Like it was
it's kind of like what I brought up is like a thing that a lot like having a beginning, middle, and official ending. Even though there's like
an overarching
story that we're
thing
going to get there.
happening.
But yeah, this had a complete. I guess like the any cliffhanger thing is like what's going to happen to Steve. You know, what's Steve's story? You know, because there's this whole like the whole thing is that Tiny is trying to create the war between the vampires and the Vampanese. There's a wild lore to this entire movie as well with the vamp. I guess it's not very wild. That's kind of all I need to know.
It gets really wild.
Fair.
Once you start getting more about Mr. like in the lore, if you're talking about that.
Like Tiny.
Once you start getting into Tiny and stuff, there's some wild shit that happens in this series that they kind of touched on.
Yeah, fair.
like him turning Murloc into that creature.
Yeah, which also that was when I saw that I was like, oh, that's what those little fucking things are.
Oompa Loompas from hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
It's like they're fucking like weird zombie creatures that Tiny just like.
Yeah, he's like a necromancer. He
Yeah.
can fuck with dead tissue.
Well, that's what even like you hear Crepsley say at one point. Like he's like, I don't want to be like, I want death. I want like when I die, I want to die. I don't want him to
Mess with me.
And you're kind of like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know? And then you see it and you're like, oh shit. And then you realize like all of those little fuckers that are in
Were
the circus.
once human or
Yeah.
vampires or something.
And they're literally his like little fucking like they're his birds.
Well, and it's like something I want to, you know, like I don't want to sit here ragging on any movie now. I've noticed I fall into that spiral sometimes. And I mean this in a really good way, and it may not sound like it, but I think it's kind of rad. The whole movie, the whole thing looks like they walked into, like, let's say the movie's an entity. They walked into a Spirit Halloween store, and then they just took it all. And they went, this is our movie. And I fucking loved it. I thought it was so cool. I thought the costumes were great, even though they looked like costumes. But it was just everyone's like, okay, so like, here's like a little fun thing. So the Vampanese, which are the evil vampires that kill people, which is such a weird, I don't know, the lamp. Ha, ha. It's so lame. And I remember thinking it was lame at the time, but whatever. It is what it is. It's his world. But the Vampanese drink so much blood in the book that they end up getting this purple tinge to their skin.
Okay.
And that's the over gluttonous.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
They didn't do that in the movie. Instead, what they did was all the Vampanese are wearing some shade of purple. Even when Steve shows up and he's now a Vampanese, he's wearing a purple t-shirt.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really fun little like for the people that read, you know, and you really wouldn't notice because they all are wearing some kind of, whether it be plum, you know, and I was just like, that's fun. It's stupid. It's fun. Who cares?
That's very purposely done.
Yeah, you know, because they're like, well, we don't want to do the purple thing because we don't want to go to explaining that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's too graphic too, of the whole they're so gorged on human blood.
It's probably also like would we want to do it a makeup thing? Is it a special effects thing? Well, how about it's just a costume thing and it save us,
money,
$100,000.
Yeah. And then it's like, yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. And it's a cool little, and what it does, it's like, it's a way to cut money, to save money, but it also becomes an Easter egg for the people, you know, so you're like, all right.
Well, then it also becomes like for any audience member, a clear separation of noticing like who is evil and who is not.
Yeah.
Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? You know?
Yeah. And then, you know, with Darren and Crepsley, red, that was their thing. They wore red. The bad guys wore purple. Because even Mr. Tiny, his whole thing was purple.
I thought it was blue.
Tiny?
Yeah.
No, like the purple light under his car, the purple car, like his whole thing. The purple glasses, like he was constantly wearing purple.
I'm just gonna. My brain is remembering it as blue, which then is making me spiral. Like, do we see shades differently?
It's possible.
You know, like, was it a blue dress or a white dress? Remember that? Blue and gold.
Yeah.
Or no, white and gold and blue and whatever.
Black or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like the whole thing is just ripped right out of a Spirit Halloween store, and I like I said, it might sound insulting, but I thought it was cool.
It's like none of that. Yeah, it's like it's because it's. I mean, that's the aesthetic that they built, and they kept with that aesthetic, and it was fine. It's really it's so strange. Like I was saying last week, you know. Well, I know it's like a movie hits me, and sometimes it's just like, you know, when we had our Gizmo rating or our Gremlin rating system, how
it's a Billy.
It's a Billy. It's like this is the most Billiest of movies.
Well, I mean, this might be your Billy for the end of the year show because that's still a category that we have. That's like
is it?
yeah.
Oh.
It's like your cop out of just like Not even then, just like when we go through you don't remember that when we go through the list and you're like, I forgot that movie existed, and we sat here for an hour and a half talking about it.
Yeah,
that's pretty insane, So that's what the Billy cat. We'll get into if you are new. We do a whole end of the year
awards.
We do an end of the year show where we just kind of talk about the stuff we've done, and one of them is a Billy, and it's the most forgettable because you watch Gremlins and Billy doesn't help really, and just does. I don't know. He's just kind of there. Bye bye, Billy. Yeah, So, inside joke. Anyways, I will also give credit to. I thought the fight choreography was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also to the point, and I was kind of thinking of it in a sense of like superhero movies, when they were like full on attacking each other, the hits actually felt like they had weight to them. Like when they were like when he grabs Krebsley and he starts dragging him through the chairs in the theater, and the chairs are shooting up and everything.
Yeah.
Everything had like a boom to it. Like it felt like it hurt, and I was like, that's pretty cool. That's fun.
You know what I think it is with this movie, and this is the unfortunate and probably by was it not Universal? Who was it that
Universal, right?
Yeah, it was Universal. That was just like never mind. The kid they got to play Darren is just not a good actor.
Yeah.
And
which is weird too because of his alter ego, not his what's the one I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Steve, the
opposite, his
correspondent,
his friend, the friend, his scene partner,
his main scene partner besides John C. Reilly, and even John C. Reilly felt like there were moments he was phoning it in, but.
Which there could have been he was phoning in because he's like, how the I can't work with this kid.
Yeah, and it's just like with Josh too, and it's like I'm not saying. I mean, obviously Josh has made more of a career, clearly.
Yeah,
and it's just so weird that this kid, what's his name, Chris, got the lead.
Yeah, it's like how
out of the two of them.
I was like, I feel like, but that's the thing is that Steve is a more complex character, so the better actor should play him.
Exactly. I was like, yeah, but you need someone good to play your villain, otherwise your villain's lame. But yeah, no, Chris playing Darren was pretty rough.
Yeah,
at moments. There's some moments it was real generic and whatever, it didn't matter. But like that whole scene where he's pleading for Steve's life after stealing the spider and it biting him and all that kind of stuff. You're like, where's the emotion? And also you kind of sit there, it was like, this is the best we got. The director went, all right.
I mean, the director could have at some point just had to like Paul Weitz just like, I'm not getting anything from this kid. I can't get anything. I'm not Stanley Kubrick, I can't go
beat him.
And just like.
And it's like he was really was this his first thing? I meant to look.
I don't think it was his first thing, but
I mean, he is number 3 on the cast list. Let's see, what was his first thing? 2003.
I think he had some Law and Order stuff.
Fucking, of course, Law and Order. Yeah, I mean,
it's like only like 23 acting credits or so.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing that we said with Aragon too. You're just kind of
because our lead, we're starting to see a trend here. It's like if your lead character, your lead actor, doesn't really have much it's gonna fall apart, and that's probably what Universal was seeing. They probably watched it or was seeing like the dailies, and some producer was probably like on trying to get a hold of Paul, be like, can you like reshoot this? This kid needs to liven up. I can't reshoot it. And I mean, it's like that's a lot. It took me 2 hours to get that life out of him. There's no more life we're getting out of this kid. And Universal's probably like, okay, well, I guess this never happened. Bye.
Well, it's always funny too. I hear it when you talk about it, and I say it all the time. Like, God, that kid is terrible, and then everyone follows with, they're just a kid. I'm like, I don't care. Like, if I was a producer or director or casting agent, I don't care.
This is a fucking job.
And know why? Because it's like, this kid, we say kid, but he's, 15 or however.
He's probably like 18, 19.
Yeah, this person. And it's like, yeah, and I've seen more emotion out of a wet piece of wood. No, but like, you see movies and there's a 6-year-old that
steals it.
Kills it.
Abigail Breslin in fucking Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, my girl.
Oh yeah, dude. Macaulay Culkin in general.
Yeah, it's
You
like,
know?
no, I get that they're just a kid, but I've seen just kids.
I'm just a kid.
I've seen just kids fucking nail it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, but I don't care if you're just a kid. If you can't act in the scene, you can't act in the scene.
Especially as now that you're older, like you're an older teenager, young adult playing this person who has emotions. Show the fucking emotion.
Well, yeah, and it's like, I hate to break it to you too, but if you can't act, you're at that age where you're going to start coming out of your boyish good looks. You need to bring something to the table because that's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point. But yeah, he was just, kind of rough.
And that's, and I think that he was the downfall of the movie, really.
And I mean, in his defense too, I will say that the dialogue written was not.
But its screenplay is not the best, but it's also like, I don't know. That's just what the world is as well,
Yeah, but it's just like, it's weird. Okay, if you were to take, how do I word this? If you were to take a lot of screenplays, right, and you were to just take it on paper and then look at what these characters or what these actors are saying to each other, a lot of the times it's utterly ridiculous, but the acting brings it to a point where you now believe in this world. But even John C. Reilly and Willem Dafoe having their conversation, their political vampire conversation, was fucking ludicrous sounding. It did not. And I was like, these are two pretty good actors. You got John C. Reilly, who I've seen in comedies and dramas, and he's great.
Yeah.
And this is Willem fucking Dafoe. He's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
He's like so many movies that he's incredible in.
They would come after me if they come after me first. Well, I'm the stronger vampire.
He also acted it like Vincent Price a little bit. Right? I think that's probably why at the Epiphany. But these two grown men are having this conversation, and it's ludicrous. It just doesn't, and there's no to it to make me really give a shit. And it also might just be because it sounds kind of like Willem Dafoe's being racist, because he's just the vampire knees, the vampire knees, the vampire knees, I gotta get you. It's
get him back in the field.
Yeah, it's like,
well, buddy,
in this world, it feels like a word you're not supposed to use. Hey, that's our word. That's what it feels like. And he's just over there screaming at him. And I don't know. The whole thing, I was sitting there and I was like, this is taking me out of it. And then the whole, like, you have bad blood. I mean, there were some funny bits, when he's like, oh, blood. He does the Nosferatu thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He kind of tells him to fuck off. But then you have bad, I don't know. The whole thing I was like, this is really, really losing me. And even shit like when they kick Steve out of that meeting and they didn't show it. I think they cut the editing. They cut that out, but Willem Dafoe clearly closed the door with his foot.
Oh, okay.
Like he kicked out and closed, because when it cuts back to him, his leg is out, and then he brings it out. So I don't know. I was just like, this is really weird. This is a really weird.
I mean, that was also a very rushed plot point too. It felt like, because you don't really get Steve, like, you understand why Steve is like pleading for this whole like make me a vampire. I want to, I have a horrible life. Let me just do this anyway type thing. But there's very little actual setup to him going in there, It's just like all of a sudden he's like, I'm in here. Turn me into a vampire.
Well, I mean, that's the young adult Disney Channel thing.
Yeah.
Because even they like straight up in the movie, I don't know, we're 20 minutes into this hour and 49-minute thing. Mm-hmm. We're 20 minutes in, and no shit, Darren, like, oh, I forgot to mention, Steve really likes vampires.
Oh,
I
yeah,
really
that's
like
right.
spiders. And you're like, really? We couldn't fucking slide that in anywhere else?
Yeah.
You're like, it's fucking Cusco from...
BT Dubs. Yeah.
It's a Cusco from Emperor's New Groove, pausing it and then coming out and being like, by the way, the story's about me right here, not him, me. It's like, it was pretty wild. It was pretty cool. And you're like, oh, that's why he was handling the spider with such confidence earlier. Yeah. But it was pretty good.
I don't know what else to say about this movie.
Really? Nothing? All right. We can be done.
I mean, we're at an hour.
Oh, we are. Lebanese.
Jesus Christ.
I had a lot of fun doing that. Willem Dafoe is fun.
Yeah, he is.
To like, I want my Vincent Price biopic to happen now. All right. Well, what do you give it?
Yeah.
2. I say 2. I want to say 2.5, but I don't think I can convince you of that.
I'm just kind of like that 2.5 feels fine to me too because
Oh yeah. Okay.
yeah. I was gonna say 2. I was like, is it a 2.5? And then I was like, it's just a Billy. It's like, can we give it an asterisk?
I think a 2 because I mean Aragon we gave a 1.5, which
bad.
Which I still agree with. And it's weird. I really in 1,000 years did not think that I would feel objectively this movie's better than Aragon.
This is much better than Aragon.
And I feel like some people might think we're absolutely crazy for that, which is fine. It's our show, so
and their opinions are wrong.
But it's like I really do. Weirdly, I feel like this was just a more pleasant watch.
It was easy to watch. I actually enjoyed watching it. Okay.
That's what it was.
Like
yeah.
Aragon, I got bored with a lot. Golden Compass, I fell asleep to constantly. And this one, I started it like tired yesterday morning, and I was like, oh, and I was actually watching it. I think a 2.5.
I actually was curious since we're chit chatting about it. What did that have? Okay, so yeah, no, because even Aragon had a 38.
Yeah.
And 5 positive, 16 mixed, 8 negative. This was 5, 15, 5. So yeah, even the critics too, I guess. I mean, they weren't comparing these in so close to each other. But I was just curious, like, are we crazy? No, even the critics saw something more in this than they did fucking Aragon.
Yeah.
I just forgot what.
I think Golden Compass, we gave a 2.5 as well, right?
Well, no, we gave Aragon a 1.5. We gave Golden Compass a 2.5.
That's what I said.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. I got there.
So 2.5. I'm down for a 2.5 with this.
Fucking Vampanese.
Be careful, man. Something's gonna slip out.
Yeah, I think because it's fun. There's a little bit of humor in it that actually got a chuckle out of me. Some of it was cringy, but some of it was funny. Costumes were great. Like I said, they were very.
I wouldn't say great. It's just
but for the world it was in.
Yeah, it's just everything fit.
Well, I think I honestly, not to toot my own horn, but I think that what I said, the Spirit Halloween thing, that's what it felt like. But it didn't feel cheap. It felt like kind of the intent and the vibe of it, you know?
But that's also but again, that's also the vibe and aesthetic I felt from even like okay, so the beginning of this movie, how it sets up like the prep school and like the over-exaggerated like perfect family thing and just the way that Darren is narrating his life and whatnot. It makes it to where when you get to this freak show and like all the costume and like makeup and all of that, it fits because of this like Diary of Wimpy Kid, Lizzie McGuire. Well, even like I guess like Diary of Wimpy Kid and Lizzie McGuire have like more of a groundedness and then the quirkiness out of like the imagination. Mm-hmm. This is more like living in that imagination.
Yeah,
you know, like that world. The created, imaginated world of a kid. We were living in that. So that's why the costumes do work for this. Again, they're not groundbreaking, amazing costumes.
No.
But they fit for what is been created for this.
Well, yeah, because then it's like on Aragon, you had the opposite, where you had these costumes and they felt like cheap costumes because they're trying to make us live in this breathing, living fantasy world.
They're trying to bring us into this world that is very unattainable.
Yeah. But yeah, so 2.5. I had a lot of fun with it. Like I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cute and stupid.
Like I said, like I mean, it's a 2.5 mainly because just like this, it's everything is just kind of like meh in it. I mean, honestly, well, it's the fucking lead kid's acting just drags this down so bad.
But it's also like weirdly enough because there are so many things going on. It's like he has a lot of screen time, but he doesn't actually do a lot. Yeah. Because he's also talking to so many people and interacting with so many people that it's like if you were just following him.
This kid's a fucking moron too.
Yeah, Darren is a real dipshit.
It's kind of insufferable.
Yeah, he's a real idiot. He just makes everything from bad to worse.
Yeah.
I mean, he did have like perfect example. Actually, going back into that, there's one line. He has one line in the movie that's actually a really cool line where they're talking about they started a war and he's like, well, it's something. What does he say? He says like, we can't start a war if no one knows about it.
Oh,
threatening Steve.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's pretty good. But then I was sitting there and I was like, the way he flat delivered that. There was no, you can't start a war if nobody knows. Ha! and you're like,
Hey,
I was like, on paper, great line, good badass line. You're like,
Yeah.
Steve is like, I mean, Darren's gonna.
It's that's like kind of his like he's at the end of his hero's journey here. He's becoming the vampire's assistant.
Yeah, you know, but then he, and you're like, oh well,
The whole half vampire thing I think is dumb, but again, the vampire world stuff that you're talking about.
you make shit up. But yeah, what do we do next week? Ender's Game, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna finish out this block with Ender's Game, which I have zero idea anything about.
I know stuff. I never read the book.
Is that the last one?
Yep.
Oh,
I never
We're
read the
ending on
book. I'm familiar with the book. My brother really liked the book. That's my connection to the book. Is my brother.
Book.
But I have seen this movie.
Oh, you have.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Do you remember liking it?
Yes, it's you're gonna really like the story of this. I think you're gonna really like. I think you're gonna like this, and you're gonna be bummed that there's not more.
Oh, cool, awesome. Love setting myself up for disappointment.
Oh, we're really quick, but like going back into like for Cirque du Freak, like I like at the end of it, I was like, I wanted more of this.
Yeah,
I actually wanted more.
it would have been cool just to kind of play around with the series more.
Yeah,
but
it's like I knew it wasn't going to be anything fucking groundbreaking, amazing, or life changing. I wasn't going to become like a Cirque du Freak guy, you know, like I became this super Harry Potter head after I watched all the Harry Potters. Well, halfway through those, it only took 2 movies for me to go, I'm in.
Yeah.
You know, so
because it created a fun world. That's what you want from something like this. It created a fun world in which not everyone, obviously, but when you become a fan of it, a world you want to experience and ingest more.
Yeah,
and it did. The first movie did a good enough job to be like, I kind of want to see more of the freaks and the monsters and the creatures and you know.
Well, you see, and that's the thing is, I wanted to see more of them and less of Darren.
Yeah,
and that's because of.
And like we said too, who knows? Over more practice, and especially with the talent that you had on the other side of all the people, the co-stars, who knows? Maybe you could have finally gotten him.
Someone could have broken through, like, dude, let's do some fucking Meisner exercises. Let's go. Like,
yeah, you know, but you know, say love you.
All right, so next week's Ender's Game.
Cool. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. That's where we primarily put our promos, just so you know what's coming up for the weeks following. On all those promos is a link to our link tree, and click on that. And then you can find where we do all of our episode posting, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all of that. Click on that, hit like and subscribe so you get all that info.
Click that button.
Please rate us or give us comments. Help us get our algorithm out there more so more people can chime on in if they do. And so, yeah. Welcome back or welcome for the first time. This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's Mixtape.